Hello everyone, welcome back to AOS CX security update session. So today we are going to see two new features which are coming as part of the CX port access update. One is the multi-domain authentication. Another one is the radius overridden role and also known as mixed role. First, let's look at the multi-domain authentication port access auth mode in detail, and then we can go back to mixed role or the radius overridden role. This is a regular agenda we are going to cover. First, let's understand what is the requirement which is asking us to support multi-domain authentication on AOS CX switches. As you see on the screen, the first mode we support as a default on all AOS CX switches as soon as you enable AAA authentication port access on ports like MACauth and .1x, we support both of those. We see the default mode is the client mode. In this mode, all the clients will be authenticated irrespective of however the means they come to the AOS CX switch. If you look at here, I have a AOS CX switch. This port, what I'm highlighting here, is connected to a switch. And I have many clients which are coming, a camera or a PC behind a phone. Like these cases, all these clients will be sent for authentication to ClearPass by the authenticator, nothing but a AOS CX switches. So every client, whichever it gets connected by default with the client limit, if you have configured the client limit, let's consider here I have 6 clients. If I configured the client as 6, then all the clients will be sent for authentication by the AOS CX switch. Depending on the authorization, access accept, it will be assigned with the radius role or the DUR or the LUR role. That is on the client mode. Remember one thing, this is very, very important. All the clients which are configured on that port will be allowed for authentication and will be sent out from the AOS CX switch. That means all access requests will reach the radius server. The next one is the important one, especially in the use cases of access point, or if you want to authenticate a unmanaged switch which is getting connected to AOS CX switches. In this case, what's going to happen is it's going to authenticate the first device which is getting connected to AOS CX switch. Rest all clients which are connected beyond that one will be just port will be open and they will have access. That means it will not send any access request of the whatever the clients which are going to come in to the radius server. But remember, the port is open for all those clients. In this case, all the requests will go, then only the client will be authenticated. If customer comes back and he is particular about their voice VoIP to be only one on a port, and you don't want any more VoIP or the voice calls on that port, we have no way to restrict that with the client mode or with the device mode. The only option we have is introducing a new option called multi-domain authentication. In this mode, only one voice device will be authenticated. Once after that voice device is authenticated and assigned with that device as a voice, that means a role is authorized and assigned to that client. After that, no more voice client will be allowed on this port, which I'm highlighting here. The difference between the client mode and the multi-domain mode is in this mode, it will continue to allow the voice devices as per the client limit. In case of multi-domain mode, it will only allow one phone and one data device by default. Let's consider if you want to increase the data devices limit, you can increase with the command only for the data devices, not for the voice. Hope this is clear. Remember, the one point you have to note from all of this is in client mode, all authentication requests will reach the ClearPass or the radius server. In case of a multi-domain mode, only one voice client request will reach the ClearPass. Once it understands it's a voice client, we'll understand how it will go to understand the voice client. We are introducing some of the VSA. But before that one, once it understands it's a voice client, no more voice requests, access requests will be sent to the ClearPass. It will be dropped at the AOS CX switch itself. As part of multi-domain authentication, we are having many sub-features, and some of the sub-features are also part of other auth modes. That means they work on client mode as well as on device mode. Let us see one by one which are the features which are applicable only for multi-domain authentication. As I said, the auth mode you can configure on the interface level, or on the role, that is a LUR role, or on the DUR role, or you can also send an attribute from the ClearPass, which is auth, how you used to send for a client mode or for the device mode. Same way you can send it from the ClearPass. That feature is getting enabled as part of the multi-domain authentication. As I was discussing about the data limit of a client, you can only increase the data devices limit. Voice devices by default, by design, it is limited to 1, because that is what was not able to achieve by the client mode and the device mode. A new special role is getting introduced, which is known as critical voice role. We had, as you guys know, we had critical role already. What is critical role? In case of switch loses a connectivity to the Radius server or the ClearPass, in that time, after it becomes unreachable, the clients which are connected will be fall to a special role called critical role. Let's consider we identified a client, which is this client, as a voice, and we want to move this voice client in the multi-domain mode to a critical voice role. Why? We have to treat that because it's authenticated client and it is must to be there on the network. You want to treat it differently in your environment. That's where we have a special critical voice role for such devices. It was dropping all other voice, but this voice was critical in the organization. Why voice is critical? You cannot reconstruct the voice packets, isn't it, on an IP network? But data you can reconstruct. That's where the voice packets are so important. And this introduction helps the organization for considering the critical voice role. One thing you have to note, while we authenticate this device in the first authentication, without a VSA or the device traffic role, that means without knowing whether it is a data or voice, I cannot use this role. First authentication has to be successful. Reauth will use this role. That has to be noted. As I was discussing, a new Aruba VSA, you have to download the ClearPass Radius dictionary to update your dictionary with Aruba port auth mode equal to multi-domain. This is a very simple, there is no integer value for this one. So you can update your Radius file by downloading that one. Below features are supported across the auth mode. That means these features will work on client mode and a device mode. For example, we are introducing a user role for voice. That means you can configure this in a LUR or in your DUR. The attribute is device traffic class. As soon as you configure this, that device, that client which you are authenticating will become voice. Rest all will be treated as data. There is yet another feature called Auto Auth VLAN. That is nothing but port access auto VLAN. This is a very important feature, especially in the UBT environment. Currently, this feature is also supported for port access clients. What happens in this one is, let's consider you're trying to push a egress VLAN for some of the clients. You had number of employees, all are employees, and you have a particular employees, you want to change the VLAN for those employees for particular number of days, for specific days. In that cases, what you can do, you can go to those clients and change the egress VLAN for those clients only, right? Without touching the authenticator AOS CX switch. you can change that one from the ClearPass. That is a use case. And remember one thing, currently there are a lot of restriction around the port access auto VLAN feature, because you have to go to the trunk, which is you are allowing, and you have to configure there. Otherwise, it will only take care of the port access. Currently, this limitation we are going to overcome as a period of release moves. So there is another feature called port access security violation. This is exactly like port security violation. What we are doing is, in case of multi-domain authentication, as I was briefing, only one voice client will be allowed. Anytime any new voice client hit the port, if you have configured the port access security violation, it will violate. In the case of a market, they call it as error disable. We call it as a security violation. That means client limit, voice client limit was 1, it reached a 2. As soon as that one, whatever the violation parameters you have defined, it will happen accordingly. That is a feature which is coming for multi-domain authentication, also for other port. There is a new VSA for you to push in case if you're not using the device traffic class in your role, LUR or in your DUR. If you want to just pass the attribute from the ClearPass, there is a new VSA getting introduced. Aruba device traffic class, this number is very, very important. Those who are already using ClearPass, you will know how important these numbers are. Make sure that is equal to 1. Okay. And I have a file in case if you're interested to download. Let's move on. This is again some of the details around the whatever I was talking about. Multi-domain authentication is basically combination of voice and data clients. One voice and few data clients. On a authenticate one port, only one voice client will be allowed. Maximum of 5 data clients are allowed, but that is not by default. By default, only one data and one voice will be allowed. If you want to increase the data limit, you have to use the port access. There is a command for you, port access client limit multi-domain. This is the command that is AAA authentication port access client limit multi-domain we have to use to increase the client limit. To enable the multi-domain, it is very simple on the port. It is AAA authentication port access auth mode. You will see 3 auth modes: client mode as a default, and device mode, and the multi-domain mode. Multi-domain mode by default it is not there. It will be working in the client mode. You have to enable it. So as I was talking about the device traffic class, you can use it. AV pair is again in the market, they call it as AV pair. We call it as VSA, vendor specific attribute. So make sure it is also supported from Aruba. So let me move on. These are some of the things you should know. Basically, in case of a violation, multi-domain especially, the following conditions are one of those things. Let's consider you have configured the data devices as 3. And default, as I was telling you, voice device as 1. Don't think like that only the data devices are going to create a violation. Anytime even the voice devices hit that port will create a violation. So these all things when we try and experiment during the demo, you will understand. Device profile and MDA works fine. There is no issue with the your MAC match. Moving on to a configuration. So these are the configuration. This is on the device. You're going to do a configuration on the interface level, especially on the your access interface level. And this is on the your ClearPass. So these are the client limit configuration by default, as you see, for the data as well as for voice, it is default 1. In case if you are trying to configure it on a role, this is how you are going to configure it on a role. Whether it is a DUR or a LUR, you are going to use in the DVR, you're going to copy paste the same. But in case if you want to use a new feature which is getting introduced as part of 10.8, which is called as a mixed role, and you want to pass this VSA, Aruba device traffic class, you want to move from that, you can do so also, which I'm going to show you. And port access violation, as you see on the screen, this is how you're going to configure inside the interface level. This, you remember, we had port security feature, similar configuration, but the only change here is port access security violation action. Default, it's always notify, same with port security, and shutdown also you can do. Recovery, we have provided a recovery mechanism. All of that is as the market details features, we have provided the same. Configuring the critical voice role. So this is how you're going to configure. Again, you're going to enable it on the interface once you have the special role defined and what you want to do in that role that is defined on the global mode. Then you're going to use the same role. How you are going to configure the critical role, same way you're going to configure the critical voice role. On the auto VLAN, there's only one line of configuration required on the global mode, port access auto VLAN, that's it. It will take care of creation of the access VLAN for you. On the feature wise, this feature is supported all across the access platform, including the simulator. Remember, some of the things which I told are not applicable generally for 4100i. What are those? The DUR, it's not supported. So don't try it in case if you're trying to use the slides and try it. Some of the things on the 4100 may not work because the DUR functionality will not work, but LUR works. And if you use the LUR and use the slide configuration, all of them works perfectly fine. So what we will do is we'll have some amount of demonstration of this feature, and then we come back for troubleshooting, which is very important for some of my TAC colleagues. For demo purpose, this is what we are going to do. We have a one L2 switch which is connected, and we have a AOS CX switch, and few clients like 3 voice. I have a phone, and I have 2 data devices. You can think you are only seeing C3. I'm considering this L2 switch also as a data device, and I'm authenticating that one. That means on the port 1/1/1, you will see 5 devices which are getting authenticated by default, as I was telling you, in the client mode. With further delay, let us get into the demo part. So hope you are able to see the screen. So here, if you watch, I have 5 clients which are getting authenticated. So what we will do, the flow of this is, we'll go through first all this client and watch the roles we have. These are all having a LUR role. So let's watch both the roles. You can see here, I have a role which is created, phone role and a data role. These are the 2 roles I have. And those are the 2 roles I'm using for this demo. Show port access client is the command which I'm executing. So you can see there are 5 devices which are onboarded, and I've kept more for the client limit of default auth mode, which is nothing but a client mode. You can see here, I have kept a client limit as 8. That means I can still send some of the clients to this device. If you want to send that one, let me see if I can send some more client by just changing some more MAC address before the session gets over. So here, let's get into authentication. It's all perfect. So let us see if we can. Okay, it's all fine here. It is sending the AAA. Let's say if I can quickly send some more MAC address to this so that we see that one. So let me send, currently you're seeing the 44, which is nothing but this PC, and I'm going to change it to maybe 55 for our understanding here. Because I have a data client limit as 8, it will increase and it will authenticate all those clients. It is attempting now. We should be able to see the 88 coming in. I think it's 55 we entered. So you can see here, we got the another data role which got assigned. Just I had the 44, now I got the 55, and it is got assigned with the data role. That means number of client limit, it can take more, right? That was the client mode operation. If you look at it from a 1/1/1, I have 8 clients and it is still taking the number of clients. So let's go through this demo part. Now we'll see, as I was telling you, you can enable this on a port. That means AAA authentication, port access, auth mode. You can enable it on the port also, right? So if you see now, the new introduction is this one. Earlier you used to see client mode, which is a default mode, device mode, and now we have the multi-domain mode, which I'm going to enable. As soon as I enable this multi-domain on the port, what will happen is it is going to flush all the clients. Let's see that one. So it has kept maybe the data. As soon as I gave the multi-domain mode, maybe the data request has come in, and hence the first data device has been learned. you will see only one voice device will be learned just after this one. Let us see the repeat with 5 seconds of delay. So as soon as I see a first phone which is hitting this port 1/1/1, you should be able to clearly see only one more voice device will be allowed on this port. You can see now there is only one more voice device which is applied to this, and no more devices will be allowed on this port. And it will always tell you, if you are enabled a console login, it will always tell you whether it has reached the client limit or not. As soon as I hit any more devices, because I've not enabled the multi-domain client limit, you can see here, I only enabled the port access client limit as 8. It is only allowing the data device also 1, and the phone device is obvious, it has to allow only 1, right? And you will start seeing on your window, the client limit has exceed. So if I configure the port access security violation, the port can be shut, you can make it as shutdown or notify. So let's do one thing. Let's configure now the client limit as more and see whether it is going to get the more data clients. To configure that one, the command is AAA authentication. Same way how we used to configure the client limit, no change, but in front of the client limit now there is a multi-domain authentication client limit. So maximum it is allowed is only 5. You can ask where is this magic number is coming from. Again, it is a request as the requirement of a customer. We are doing this one. This can be changed because multi-domain authentication in the background process works like a client mode authentication, right? So everything is same. The only one thing is we are making sure the voice access requests are not going out of the port, which is 1/1/1. That is the key here. So let me increase it to 3 and wait for another data clients to reach here. So these all things on the port we can do the auth mode, and or you can also do it from the role, which I'm going to show you one configuration from the role. You can see now the client limit, I've increased it to 3, though there are only 2 data devices currently. You can see here, this is the one L2 switch and another is the PC, which we got. Both are getting the data role. And the one is only allowed for the voice, even though the voice clients there are 3 voice clients which are there for this port 1/1/1, as we saw in the topology diagram. So now what we will do is let's configure the port access violation on this port. For better understanding, any client quickly comes up. So I'll go and remove this multi-domain authentication 3, which I've configured, so that it will come back to only 1/1, so that we can see the port access violation. On the role, as I was telling you, you can configure on the role also this auth mode. As we have, you can see here, I can get into port access phone role and configure the auth mode. The command for that one is auth mode. This is how you are going to do it even in the DOR, so multi-domain. As soon as I do this, it's the same effect, right? Because you have configured it already on the port. Let me remove it and show you 1/1/1. I'm going to remove from the interface level configuration so that you have the only port level now. You can see it is still in the multi-domain. The configuration only stays in the role now. You can see here, it's in the role. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll enable the port access violation feature, because this feature works across the across 3 auth modes. So let's enable it for the multi-domain and check whether does it work on the multi-domain, which is getting introduced as part of the 10.8. So to enable the port access violation, you have to get into port access. Let's see the question mark and port access security violation action. You should see notify as well as shutdown. Let us see the full command, which way, that way you will know. You can see auto recovery is there, recovery timer is there. These are the 2 questions came up in the last session, so just we are bringing it up. So let me give you shutdown here and we'll see whether the shutdown happens on this port or not. Now still we are not getting the new client. As soon as we get a new client, the port should go to shutdown. You can see the port has now no clients are there on this because one of the client might have tried the access and it has reached the client limit, and all the clients got deleted from that port because the port is getting violated on this. So we'll see the 1/1/1. Yes, it is now shut down because of the violation. To see the violation count, 1 minute, there is a command for that one. Usually I have a tendency, the command to see the port access violation is show port access AAA violation this interface. So this is the command. So you will keep seeing the violation count increasing for the port access security violations. So let's go and do the another new role, which is getting special role, which is getting introduced as part of this feature is the critical voice role. Let us try that part also as part of the demo. For that purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the port access security violation, which I've configured, and bring up the interface. Let's see whether the interface is coming up. Okay, the interface is up now, and we should start seeing the incoming packet on this. As soon as we see, you can see here, this is the one thing you have to note. It is showing as a client mode. This is showing as a client mode. Thanks to this feature, they designed it very nicely. Both data client hit this port, but none of the voice client hit the port. In that time, what will happen is it will continue to get the client limit we configured 8. You guys remember? Because I have the show running config port access, there is no auth mode configured on the data role. Hence, what it is doing, because it is not getting the voice, it is just taking the data devices and going with the limit, because it's a default, it is going with the limit of 8. As soon as this is what I was explaining in the first line, as soon as it gets the first voice on that interface and it gets a access accept with that role name, and in that role you have configured the auth mode as the multi-domain mode, it will remove that another data device. You can see now another data device is not there because the one phone packet reached this 1/1/1, and after the authentication it understood, oh, this port is, I'm getting a role of voice and this port is a multi-domain port. That means I need to allow only one voice device and only one data device as a default. In case, let's consider you configured the multi-domain client limit as 2. In that case, what used to happen, that other client also continue to stay. These are the things you have to take care when customer comes back. He wants to retain the 2 data clients and want to keep only one voice. The feature is multi-domain authentication, right? So that's how we are going to go. Let's go and see the another special role which I was talking about. I've configured a special role. You can see here, it is called as a vVoice and critical voice role. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable and make the Radius server unreachable for this. Let's see whether I already configured on the port 1/1/1. You can see I've already configured triple authentication port access, critical role, voice role. So what we will do now, it's a very simple. We'll just make the Radius server unreachable. So currently the Radius server is reachable via 1/1/40. It isn't reachable, and I have a dead-only timer enabled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shut the interface which is connected towards the ClearPass. Before that one, it is good to check, do you have a voice and a data, so that you will know only the voice, you will know this client will fall back to critical voice role. I'm going to shut this port 1/1/1/48. Shut it. And you should see Radius server still reachable. The reason being, this is also some of the things you have to understand. Reason being the tracking interval. The next tracking request will only go to ClearPass or the Radius server after 56 seconds. Okay, if anything which tries now, let's consider some session timeouts are getting over. Show AAA authentication, port access, This is all very important when you are debugging. So interface 1/1/1, client status all. Oops, what did I do? A mistake. Client status, that's it. Okay, there is no all here. So you can see there is session time. Some of the client session time is going to get over and they try for authentication. That time they will fail, but still the Radius server tracking, it still is with the, you can see now it has become unreachable because the one of the session timeout has informed the Radius server is not there and it is failing, right? So these are very important, watching the timers of the Radius server as well as the session timeout. So that way you'll understand. And let's watch the what we were looking for. The client which we were looking and we were interested is in now in the critical voice role, and rest all failed. They're trying for an authentication. They will not get succeeded because the Radius server is no more. So with this, we have completed all the new features which are coming as part of the multi-domain authentication. And let's move on to some of the troubleshooting, which I feel which is going to be important for you all. Moving on to ClearPass. In case if you're looking for a ClearPass to set this VSA, that is especially this voice VSA, this is how you're going to set it. Whatever the role you are passing, as you saw, I was passing a data role for the data devices, voice phone role for the phone LUR. In that, you can go and configure another VSA. To do this, remember, you need a 10.8 image only. You cannot do it on the 10.7 or so, because this enablement is nothing but a radius overridden role or the mixed role. I can call this as a mixed role, radius overridden role. We'll call it for the IETF standard attribute. VSA, we call it as a mixed role. Okay. This was not supported, as you guys know, till now. For downloading any gateway role, all of that was not possible till 10.8. But now, because as you are already understanding, both VSAs you can push to the AOSCX switches. That means even the LUR will get pushed to the AOSCX as the access accept comes into the AOSCX switch. Also, another attribute which getting from the ClearPass. So this is where you're going to see it. This is the dictionary file. Go to the administrator and download this radius, and you are going to edit it, which I'm going to show you in a minute how we are going to edit it. Okay, so on the auth port mode, only used to see infra mode and the client mode. Now you will see multi-domain mode. Only thing is you have to go and edit this one. There is no much mistakes happens on this one, but only on the other one there is chances of mistakes. If you want to download, there is a file here. You can download and keep it in your Radius server. Troubleshooting, I find it, these are all very interesting and myself. And one is the CPU, because I don't want to do it to a tunnel or to another interface where I need another Windows PC or so. Right here, I can do it on the same AOSCX switch where I can do a mirror session. This is, remember, as I was telling you, most of my PPT, when you copy paste onto 4100, this will not work because destination CPU is not supported on 4100. Okay, so mirror session, source interface both, and destination CPU, enable it, and DAG utility tshark file. This is the good thing. And as soon as you complete that one, do a copy to your TFTP location. As a only thing is you have to provide the file name as PCAP, otherwise you will file it as no index, right? You have to provide the PCAP and then you can open that file. So one thing you have to note, because you are doing it for CPU, please, if you are having a trouble, once you got the file, understood what you want to understood, like access request has come in, all the attributes have gone to a Radius server, access accept has come in, whatever the attribute have to come from the ClearPass has reached your AOSCX switches, but the clients are not getting rightly onboarded. For example, captive portal you are trying, port bounce is not working properly. It is something to do with the problem with the client reaching the ClearPass, right? Make sure captive portal use cases, it is having on the data path. Then only things will work. Management port, no, captive portal will not work with the AOSCX, right? Because we can't support, I don't know, AOS switch today, but AOSCX will not support on a management port captive portal. So let's consider if you want to do something on the packet capture on the ClearPass, it is very, very easy. So just go to administration, server configuration, click on the collect logs. When you click on the collect logs, you will get a window like this, and you can name a file. You can get the complete session from the access request all the way, how you monitor from the monitoring of the ClearPass. All the details will be captured on this packet. There you can watch, okay, did it really reach the ClearPass or not? So these all things are going to be very, very important, especially when you are looking for some of the attributes, okay? And the general debugging purpose, rest all it's same, which I showed already in the previous TOS session also. This is something which is going to be very handy. Show events -R -D port access D. This is very, very important, I would say, because it gives you all the details. Now that this event log has been really enhanced very well. And dumping for the envisioning, and also whether you are seeing the same thing on the box, DAG dump is another command which is very useful. And debug wise, I always suggest to do a buffer, destination buffer, instead of flooding it on the console also, and then check it. These are the two debugs are very helpful. Port access, these are wrong. As you guys know, debug without a space, port access always the correct command. Resources, internally you have functionality guide as well as the design guide, which talks about all the details. In case if you're looking something document, very detailed document, externally there is a document called security guide for AOS CX switches. With this, we completed this feature. Let me take if any questions are there. Written on a first response. Okay. MD. Okay, I'll take all of this question and answer